retired metalhead weatherman here. I hope you guys are doing well. So this is a quick video in regards to the severe threat, which in all honesty isn't that impressive. We still have a damaging wind threat possible with this, but for the most part, nothing really has changed here. No heightened threat for really much of anything. However, on days 4 through 8, there is an enhanced risk, and we will be talking about that a little later down the line. Probably, I'd say maybe tomorrow, Friday. Tonight we'll be covering the ice storm. So, like I said, plenty in the previous videos, plenty of content coming. Hope you guys are ready. That being said, there also is interestingly enough, a mesoscale discussion that just got issued not too long ago. Potential for severe thunderstorm wind gusts will be increasing across this region between far northeastern Texas, parts of southeastern Oklahoma, and even into parts of Arkansas. So there is potential for a watch to be issued a little later. So we'll keep an eye on that. This is just a little bit outside of that slight risk area that we have for today. And when we go ahead and look at that, we can see that this is just on the fringe of it. Right, this mesoscale is on the fringe of it right here. And then throughout the course of the day, we'll start to see a new area develop, most likely across Oklahoma City and Norman. And then we'll watch this head off to the east a little bit. Dynamics will still be favorable heading into the marginal risk, but by that point, we'll start to lose those slowly but surely. And then by the time we get towards central parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, and into the Ohio Valley, we're mostly going to start to lose that dynamic for severe weather altogether, or at least that's what's expected. There is a 2% tornado threat, and they've added a second area right here that's over towards northern Mississippi and parts of southern Tennessee. And there's not too much that's changed with the wind threat. If anything has changed at all, it's a tiny little sleeve right here that's developed where we have Jackson, Memphis, and parts of northern Mississippi in that marginal risk. Excuse me. When we look at the hail threat, it's mainly centered around that slight risk, as we're closer to that cold core style setup. So that being said, let's go ahead and actually look at the storm mode here really quickly and get a little bit of an idea of what we could be dealing with in regards to something like Volkswagen or something. So this is what we're dealing with right now. And I didn't want to click that. But what we're dealing with right now is this line of storms is going to be popping up probably about 9:10 a.m. Central Time. And these storms will start to intensify as they head more so towards Missouri and parts of Arkansas. You can see clearly that this is a pretty solid line of storms. This little narrow contrast between the bluish green all the way to the orangish red color is a very good indicator of the damaging wind threat. There's a few kinks in the line, so QLCS spin-ups are very much possible. And then as we go on throughout the course of the day, this line will hold up pretty well. And then by the time, of course, we get towards this region, it's going to be heading a little closer towards the evening hours. I'd say this about maybe, 4 or 5 p.m. Central. We see this line start to really break up at this point, though. And from that point, the threat will start to transition a little bit more so towards heavy rain. And then, of course, as we head further and further into the evening, we lose the dynamics. Storm system kind of falls apart here. One other area I want to take a closer look at is over towards Mississippi, where they issued this marginal risk. There is some potential for a few discrete cells across northern Mississippi. And they do have a little bit of that kidney bean shape, of course, being as far away as it is from the low pressure. Forcing is going to be a little bit questionable around this region, but the other parameters are just enough to where a marginal risk isn't unreasonable. Then, of course, we start to see this congealed into a line as well eventually as we get better forcing, and then just as quickly as they form, they're out of here. We'll try and slide back a little bit more so towards Oklahoma City and Norman so we can get the actual start of this event. So here we are looking now, and this is heading just about towards current time, I would say. And it's probably within the next hour or so where we'll start to see these really begin to take off here. So I'd say within about maybe an hour or two, that's where the NAM is expecting this line of storms to develop. Again, main threat with this is damaging winds. Always have to watch these little kinks in the line for potential quick spin up tornadoes. These are not expected to be strong, but they can still be just as damaging. Not to mention, you have to take damaging winds pretty serious as well, because they can do the same kind of damage as a smaller tornado, but also on a much wider scale. So you might want to watch these severe thunderstorm warnings a little bit more intensely today. So that's what we're dealing with there. If I remember correctly, there wasn't really too much in the way of lapse rates in regards to the hail threat, but we'll go ahead and go over them. Actually, I stand corrected. As we go forward here, some pretty decent lapse rates. We're getting up to about 6s and 7s. We'll actually go ahead and shift that back over towards Missouri and some of these other regions here. And you can see early in the day the lapse rates are really high, but as time goes on, we do have that little pocket that develops here just out ahead of these storms where we can see those lapse rates still hanging around at 7s. And I think across this region right here around southeastern Missouri, maybe we could see a little bit of hail there, because lapse rates are always a telltale sign of things, and maybe there could be a little bit of an increased tornado threat there. We'll have to see what ends up happening with that. But for the most part, the timing of this system, the way things are set up, the lack of instability could limit the overall results of this event. The only way to find out, of course, is to just wait and see what happens. But that's the end of this video here. I'm going to hurry up and get ready for work. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you know what to do if you did. Drop me a like or hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And share the video to anyone that may find this useful. But I'll see you guys this evening. This has been Tired Metalhead Weatherman. Take care.